Hey guys, Rolando Rodriguez here with xgains.com. We got workouts to work, eats to satisfy, and everything else you need to reach your lifestyle goals. So today I want to make a video concerning a topic I've talked a lot about before, but being that Thanksgiving just happened and we're entering the full-fledged holiday season through the new year before everybody starts doing New Year's resolutions, wanted to make a video to see how we might be able to minimize some of the damage that we're about to cause to our body, in a joyous occasion through this holiday season, so that when our New Year's resolutions come around, we don't have to take really huge strides to get to our goal, right? Especially if we were somewhere near our goal coming towards the end of the season, and just like happens to me and happens to everybody out there, as the holidays come a little bit more near, we start getting a little more festive and we start to allow ourselves to indulge in things that we might not normally indulge, and especially indulge more often than we typically would, which is cool. Happens to everybody. Hey, New Year comes around, forget what we just did, let's move forward. But if we plan a little bit, we might be able to minimize the damage. So as you guys know, I follow intermittent fasting on a regular basis, at least fast for 18 hours a day, and then I feed for 6 hours a day. That's my feeding window. These days, it's really more known as time-restricted feeding, which I tend to agree with, because if you're gonna be intermittent fasting, I would imagine technically you should probably be doing it for at least 24 to maybe 36 hours if you want to call it intermittent fasting. But if you're just restricting what you're eating a certain amount of time throughout the day, I would say that's really more like a time restriction as opposed to a full-fledged fast. Anyways, the point for this video, you can utilize time-restricted feeding and or intermittent fasting, or just dropping your caloric intake every other day or for a couple of days throughout the week. So if we know, for example, the way it plays out with me, if I know that I'm about to tear up some food 2 days that week, I might intermittent fast for a full 24 hours on the 2 days that I'm really going to indulge. Or I might say, you know what, instead of intermittent fasting for those 2 days, I'm going to reduce my caloric intake 3 to 4 days throughout the week, noticeable reduction. So if you normally eat about 2,000 to about 2,500 calories a day, you might only eat 1,000 calories that day, or one day you might eat only 600 calories that day, or you might fast like I do for the entire day. The thing is, you can do whatever you want as long as you actively say, you know what, I'm gonna either reduce the amount of time that I'm eating, I'm gonna fast, or I'm gonna reduce the amount of calories that I'm eating. Or you could say, I know I'm about to tear up a whole bunch of carbs and a bunch of refined sugars on this day, so maybe 2 days leading up to that, you do a low carb or a ketogenic diet approach to try to reduce the amount of glycogen that you have stored in your system, so that when you do intake that food, it's got somewhere to go. Or you could do the vice versa. You say, I just tore up a whole bunch of carbs and sugars. I'm going to take the next 2 days and I'm going to follow low carb, high fat. I might intermittent fast, or I might follow a strict ketogenic diet and do some high interval training exercises to actually push that fat from its stores and get it out there and mobilize it and utilize it as energy, so you actually take it off your body. And if you notice, I started this video off talking about diet and just now mentioned working out, because the truth is, if you're going to minimize the damage that you're doing in the terms of the amount of food that you're eating and the types of food that you're eating via a workout routine, it's not going to be as effective as if you take 2 or 3 days out that week and devote it to actively trying to combat or offset the damage that you did via your food intake. I really do believe that working out is about 20% of the occasion with keeping the weight off. So even if you aren't working out, you can still focus on the other 80%. And if you are working out, you can still focus on the other 80%, which is diet, because you will get more bang for your buck. Like I've always said, you could either not eat the chocolate chip cookie, or you could run for another 30 to 40 minutes just to offset the chocolate chip cookie that you ate. Just really try to focus and hone in on the types of food that you're putting in your mouth, and or the techniques that we talked about, reducing your calories greatly for a couple of days, time-restricted feeding, or intermittent fasting. If you utilize those approaches with high intensity interval training or some explosive workouts that's really going to tax your system and burn your glycogen stores, you're going to be minimizing the damage. And it's an approach I think a lot of us can sort of plan, especially if you're already working out. Just plan, say, hey, I'm going to be a little more mindful 3 days after I indulge or 3 days before I indulge to see if I can offset the damage that's done when I do indulge. Because everybody's human and we all deserve to have our cake and eat it too sometimes. As long as we can get back to it and separate the two when we need to offset the fact that we just had both. It's math, right? That's it for now. This is Rolando Rodriguez with xgains.com. Please let me know if you got any questions or comments down below. Please like, subscribe, and share to this channel if you haven't done so already. I greatly appreciate it. The website again is that's the symbol, not the word, gains.com. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Peace.